Right, something I wanted to talk about today, I'll call ultimate on-ramp, ultimate off-ramp, because we have news reports of both parts of that. So the ultimate on-ramp part is the fact that PayPal, or PayPal Ventures actually, has decided to make an investment in a company called Mesh, and they invested about $6.5 million. And Mesh is actually a company that's aiming to be kind of the, as they call, or someone else I think called them, the Plaid of crypto, which is basically meaning that they are providing the infrastructure to move tokens back and forth easily among different chains and I believe even between fiat and different chains. But they got an investment from PayPal Ventures. And so again, PayPal Ventures has invested $6.5 million. Now, the interesting part, of course, is that PayPal Ventures has used actually their stablecoin, PYUSD, to invest in Mesh. So they sent about $5 million worth of PYUSD, which is their stablecoin, to Mesh as part of the investment. This is interesting. I mean, look, PayPal definitely has the cash. They didn't have to send stable coins. And remember, their stable coin is created by Paxos. Paxos manages it. So Paxos basically gets assets, and most of those are dollar equivalent assets. And then they issue a cryptographic token against that. And that token can be traded on chain. And we've talked about programmability and transparency and settlement and all those aspects we really like about it. But the interesting part is now this is kind of the ultimate on-ramp for Mesh, because Mesh now has those stable coins on chain in treasury or in a wallet or something. And they don't necessarily have to go into a bank now. They can manage those assets on chain, even though it was a large bit of investment from a traditional finance company, from a company, PayPal, who, by the way, was cutting edge back when they started, back when we needed kind of money on the internet to facilitate things like eBay transactions. That's where PayPal started. So now here we see PayPal wading into the ultimate on-ramp saying, we are going to facilitate transactions on chain, even though for years we've been doing it with bank-to-bank transfers. And now we're going to facilitate a way to make a transfer on chain and not even have to go to a bank. So PayPal delivering 5 million of PYUSD, so a dollar equivalent, to Mesh. And Mesh can now hold it in their treasury without ever having to go to a bank. And that is what we call the ultimate on-ramp, right? Which says Mesh doesn't have to take $6.5 million or $5 million in this case and go to put it in a bank. And if they have to use crypto, basically if they have employees or if they have people they have to pay all over the world, they wouldn't have to go into fiat currency and then figure out a way to wire money or something like that. They have all this in treasury. They can hold it in treasury on chain. They can go into DeFi. They can earn yield on it. I'm not saying they're going to degen. They're not going to try to earn 180% yield or yield farm or anything like that. But what they're likely going to do is just hold it and earn, 5-6%, whatever they can earn on quite a bit of that money, and use it as they please. Some of their employees may be dispersed all over the world. Most of their employees are likely pretty crypto native, meaning they can pay those people in crypto. And I'm not saying they're going to do that for sure, but they have the opportunity to do that now without ever having to go to the bank. And you have instant settlement availability. You have the transparency of their treasury. So any of their stakeholders, including PayPal Ventures, can look at the treasury and kind of see what they're doing with it. That's a big piece of this. The other part is what we'll call the ultimate off-ramp, which is I can spend. And so what we saw is the company Transact is partnering up with Visa to be able to allow people to spend their crypto that's in their wallet via Visa rails, which basically to me means I can have money in my crypto or my digital wallet. And that money can be USDC, it could be PayPal USD, it could be Bitcoin, it could be ETH, it could be a number of other crypto assets, but I can spend it using a debit card over Visa rails. And that's a really big deal because now, obviously being in the US, it's not nearly as big a deal, but elsewhere in the world, people want to hold either something like Bitcoin, maybe they want to hold ETH, maybe they want to hold USDC because their particular currency, the currency of their country, maybe is being devalued at an alarming rate. It's being inflated away, and they want to hold something like USDC or PayPal USD or DAI or USDT or something. And this is a way that they can actually spend it. So at some point, people around the world are able to spend their money, are able to hold their money in something like a dollar or something like Bitcoin, and then go spend it without having to go back into the bank, without having to basically ask permission to be able to use their money. this is what we call the ultimate off-ramp. And we've kind of theorized and gone through some use cases. Look, if I were going to travel outside the country and I had the opportunity to have this debit card, I might put some crypto assets, some USDC or something, in a digital wallet and attach this debit card to it. And so when I'm traveling, I can use that debit card and I'm not worried about anyone having access to my bank account. And you might say, well, now that they have access to your crypto account, but I'm going to monitor what goes in there and I'm going to make sure that there's not too much in there that can be stolen or lost or anything. It might also, be a scenario where others in the world are wanting to travel, or companies, as we talked about Mesh, might want to spend that crypto assets they have. So they got their $5 million investment in PayPal USD from PayPal Ventures. And as they pay people, they can do so in crypto. And then those people that they're paying, regardless of where they are in the world, might get a debit card that they can spend out of their wallet. And this entire transaction happens without having to use banks or banking rails. And I think that's really important. And why is it important for advisors? Because we are going that direction, because large companies, large kind of traditional finance companies like Visa and like PayPal are realizing that the opportunities of blockchain-based transactions, of blockchain-based rails are a reality. They realize that this is how people are likely going to want to transact in the future. So your clients are likely going to have the ability to set up digital wallets, to get paid, to have that ultimate on-ramp and get paid somehow, whether it's raising money like Mesh did, whether it's the money they're going to earn from whatever job, whatever role, whatever business they have. However they want to do it, they can earn this way and then they can spend that way. And you're going to have to help them understand their income, their cash flows, their options for maybe earning yield on that money, keeping it safe and secure, of course, with private keys, multi-sig wallets, all of that. What it also means is if we see more and more transactions like this on chain, if for instance this is on Ethereum, this is on Solana, this is on Polygon, then there is likely going to be more demand for the tokens that represent those networks, meaning that more demand generally means more higher price. So two aspects to think about as an advisor. How is this going to impact me and my clients? You as an advisor might one day be accepting payment in crypto assets, in USDC or USDT or Bitcoin or ETH or something. Again, it doesn't have to be volatile. It could be a stable coin. You might be accepting your payment that way, and then you can actually spend that way. And your clients are going to be doing the same thing. So understanding the custodial, the wallet, safety, security aspect, but also understanding how that affects the price of the underlying asset, how that affects the price of ETH or Solana or Polygon, if that's the network that people are going to be transacting on. We can also think about this in terms of tokenization of real world assets. So tokenization of funds like BlackRock and JP Morgan talk about. You can imagine that they might like to accept investment for their funds in some sort of stable coin, because it doesn't make sense for them to accept payment in dollars. They have to put that into a bank and somehow convert and somehow give you a tokenized version of a fund. It can all be done on chain. It can be transparent. It can be instant. So we are moving that direction. That is just the direction of evolution. And as financial professionals, it's just important for you to understand the ramifications of safety, security, and the impact that this has on the price of the impact this has on the value of the network, and therefore the price of the tokens that represent those networks.